So, your dryer is flashing an F3 error code. I know why you're here. It's a real headache, but I've got some good news. You can probably fix this yourself without having to make a pricey repair call. We're going to walk through exactly what that code means and how you can solve it step by step.
Yep, there it is, blinking away on the display, F3. Your clothes are still damp, and your whole day just hit a speed bump. But before you even think about calling for an expensive repair, just know this, you've totally got this. Let's get it sorted out.
Okay, let's just get right to it. Before we get into any of the technical stuff, just look at this chart. A whopping 60% of the time, the F3 error is just a clogged vent. And that is great news, because that's a fix that costs you $0, just a little bit of your time. See? The vast majority of these issues are actually pretty simple. So what is your dryer actually trying to tell you with this code? Well, F3 points directly to a problem with the exhaust temperature sensor. Just think of it like a thermometer for your dryer's exhaust. Its whole job is to tell the main computer how hot the air is. The F3 code pops up when that thermometer is sending a really wild reading, like way too hot or way too cold, or it's just not sending any signal at all. And that brings us to the single most important step you can take. Seriously, for more than half of you watching, what we're about to cover is going to solve your problem completely, and for free. We are starting with the number one cause, hands down, a blocked airway. And if you're wondering why we start here, well, look at this. It's not just about the F3 error. A staggering 90% of all temperature-related problems in dryers come down to bad venting. When that air can't get out, it doesn't just mess with the sensors. It traps heat, which is a major fire hazard. Now, before you touch anything, and I mean it, this part is non-negotiable. Unplug your dryer. Pull the plug right out of the wall socket. We're about to start moving things around, and safety is absolutely the top priority here. All right, let's get to cleaning. First, you're going to pull the dryer away from the wall and disconnect that big hose, the duct. Second, grab your vacuum and clean out the hole on the back of the dryer itself. You will be amazed at what builds up in there. Third, get yourself a long vent brush and snake it through the entire duct that goes to the outside. And finally, don't forget to go outside and check the vent hood on the side of your house. Make sure it's not jammed with lint or, a bird's nest. It happens. Oh, and hey, while you're back there, here's a huge pro tip. If your vent hose is one of those flimsy white plastic or silver foil accordion-style ducts, do yourself a favor and just get rid of it. That stuff is a fire hazard. It gets crushed easily, and all those little ridges are perfect for trapping lint. The absolute best and safest thing to use is a smooth, rigid, or semi-rigid metal duct. Okay, so you've cleaned the vent from the dryer all the way to the outside. It is spotless. But that F3 error is still staring you in the face. Don't worry. It's time to move on to the next most likely cause from our chart, the sensor itself. So what are we even looking for? You're on the hunt for a small component, usually oval or rectangular. It'll have two little wires plugged into it, and it's typically held in place by just one screw. You'll almost always find it mounted on the heater box or on the exhaust duct, somewhere near the back of the dryer. Now to test it, you're going to need a simple multimeter. First, and I know I'm saying it again, but it's that important, make sure the dryer is unplugged. Then, just pull the two wires off the sensor. Set your multimeter to measure ohms, that's the little horseshoe symbol, and then just touch one probe to each of the sensor's two metal prongs. So what does your multimeter say? It's pretty black and white, actually. At normal room temperature, a good sensor is going to read somewhere between 10,000 and 12,000 ohms. If you get a reading of 0, or if it says OL, which just means open line, then the sensor is toast. It's failed, and it's time to replace it. All right, let's talk about the rare case. This is for the unlucky few. Your vent is sparkling clean, and your sensor just tested perfectly fine. So what on earth could it be now? Well, the next logical place to look is the path between the sensor and the dryer's brain, the wiring. So what you're going to do is play detective. Visually trace those two wires from the sensor back towards the main control board. You're just looking for anything that seems obviously wrong. Do you see a spot where a wire got pinched or even cut? Are the plastic connectors at either end looking burnt or discolored? Is any of the wire's insulation melted because it got too close to something hot? Any of those could be your smoking gun. So we've covered all the most common things you can fix yourself. But, a really important part of being a good DIYer is knowing when it's time to put the tools down and call in an expert. There's zero shame in it. In fact, in some cases, it's the smartest and safest move you can make. So when do you make that call? Well, if you have a gas dryer, just stick to cleaning the vent for safety's sake. If you've cleaned the vent, you've put in a brand new sensor, and that F3 error still won't go away, it's time. Same goes if you find some really chewed up wires, or if getting to the problem looks like it's going to require taking the entire machine apart. So let's boil this all down to the one huge takeaway. That frustrating F3 code is almost always a simple problem in disguise. Before you spend a single dime on parts or waste hours testing components, please always check your venting first. It's the most common cause, it's the easiest fix, and it's the most important thing you can do to keep your dryer running safely and efficiently. Good luck.